Hello! How's everyone doing? If you see this at a later time or you're tuning in now and you have a question, please pop it down in the comment section. I would love to answer it. If I don't know the answer to it, I will find the answer to it and get back to you. If you have any requests on stuff you'd like to see, that'd be groovy too. I give my own spin on how things I play, little shortcuts, how to use different chords, stuff like that. Let's see here. So, spin on how things I play, little shortcuts. Ooh, feedback loop here. So, if you're interested in what this is, on Mondays, I talk to people and answer questions when I can. If I'm able to. If not, I go to my teachers. Other than that, there's a lot of stuff on the interwebs. If you have questions about it, check it out. You could Google stuff. A lot of the times, what I look for when a student asks me for a song, they'll bring the song to my attention. I will play that song by doing a couple different things, but it's a little bit of fretboard recognition, ear training, and then motor skills. That's really all music is. So what I do on Mondays is I just kind of talk about my relationship with music, talk about a couple of my students, how I'm going through the progress of writing different syllabuses for them, and just give a brief overview of what somebody who is just a basic music instructor does. I really dig what I do. I only get the privilege of teaching twice a week, which is cool. Saturdays and Mondays here in Hilo, Hawaii for Big Island Guitars. So if you are in the Hilo area and you want to come and check out the store and maybe pop by and say hi, that'd be super awesome. I know a lot of people that I have met over the years that come out here for some event, take a lesson or two from me, and then go back to wherever they're from. Find a lot of people, Oregon, a lot of people from Florida, a lot of people from Germany as well, which is great. The boats have been a little less since the pandemic started and is wrapping itself up, I think. However, most of the people that I play for and do stuff with now, we're all kind of like a little weary, still wear a mask. I wear my mask around my kids just because they're always snotty and rubbing their noses. So what I do is a little bit of both music theory, pedagogy, teaching students how to hear chords on a piano and the right fingering technique, to basic chords. I implement the idea of using the circle of fifths to understand what you're doing on every instrument, rather than waiting till somebody's already gone through the process of learning. It seems like it takes a little bit off of the edge, but you can really tell the kids who just want to jump right into music and just strum along or play, or the adults that just want to learn songs, that have no care about scales, don't care about soloing. I think it's really a fun idea when people start to get into a tune and then you say, hey, can you play something by this band? And then what we do is we demystify what music actually is. So when we do that, Stairway to Heaven doesn't seem so complicated. I got fuzzies floating. And then the places and the fingers that we actually use in position on the fretboard, they tend to be the same on every instrument if it's string, depending on what it is tuned to. So what we do is we kind of set up a pedagogy where we learn how to use our fingers and get a little bit of muscle memory. Anybody who's ever played a piano knows that there is a teacher and a student sometimes, and the teacher does, cool, hold your hand with correct posturing. Hold your hand with correct posturing, make sure that you leave a cavity, hold it over here, and then they talk about do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and they talk about the correlation with the triads. A lot of people will talk about how if you build triads up in the key of C, you don't have to touch any of the black keys. That is a great place to start with for all music theory for the piano. But for stringed instruments, it seems a little overwhelming because you're doing a multitude of things at the same time. So the little platform that I've just devised, I have two different lessons that I do, and I'll show it to you here in just a moment if you stay with me while I set up my room for today. These things just influence your fingers to do what they naturally wanted to do in the first place, and that's become fluid. When you hear any scale, those individual melodies tend... Those individual melodies tend to get lost because a lot of people are trying to shoot fish in a barrel with notes that they know. Do-do-do-do-do. What we do in the beginning, if you take it very slow and play applications and little hints for on different instrumentations, you could find yourself playing the same C major on the ukulele over and over again. But if you start to delve into just the 7 chords, major, C major, D major, E major, F major, G major, A major. If we take A major and do the second of what I call teeter-totters, we're quite literally taking our first finger off that C sharp on the thickest string of the ukulele, putting our second finger, which was on the A note on the high G, and then replacing that note with our third finger. Thusly, same chord, no matter what fingering you played in. Do, 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 do all day long. When you want to play that C major, follow me here, say A major, scoot it up a half step, bar that first fret. Say B flat major, scoot it up a half step or a minor second, say B major, and when you think, oh, C major comes after B and you play that same shape, you realize every chord you've ever played on this can be scooched up by simply applying a bar chord. That's, as an instructor, what I love to see, that aha moment. So on this channel, what I teach is lesson 1, spider exercises. When you can play with 1 finger, then 2 finger, then 3 finger, and then go back to your thumb, you could have your first finger, second finger, third finger, and fourth finger, not hitting the fretting, but hitting the fret right in the middle. Meow. When we take this back and just play 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, no matter what instrument you're on, if it has frets, great. If it doesn't have frets, same principle. What you're doing is minor seconds. It hones the ear into hearing a diatonic and a chromatic difference. Because the difference between a 7-note, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, when we hear that, we can move that up to C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B sharp, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D. When we do this, the scale remains the same, but the notes change. So in the beginning, who cares what the notes on this thing are? When we do a practical application of talking about what a C major plus a E minor, and when we play them together makes a C major 7, we correlate that with, so we can hear that tone on the instrument of choice, but then we dissect what the chords are. On this channel in the future, hopefully in 2023, I'm going to be doing an amalgamation with other local musicians in Hawaii and talking about how these chord structures fit together in workshops. And we're going to be having people that are local artists involved with that. It's going to be super fun. Other than that, I do a weekly bass lesson on Monday, so if you are a bassist, I would love it if you would come today. I think it's at like 2 o'clock, maybe 1. If you check the channel, they're all consistent. We're talking about popping right now. How funny. I was playing with a band last night. They're all tuned to E flat. Or D flat, rather. So, yeah, today, free bass lesson. Come and check it out. There are other bass lessons that we've done that talk about how to use just 2 fingers, start walking that bass. A little bit of fretboard recognition. And then last but not least, being able to put those together with a practical application. We chose like bebop, Dorian blues, boom, 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 which is a great way to start utilizing 2 different fingers. Boom, 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 boom. Just using the outside of a chord structure, basically pentatonic style. But what we'll do is we'll talk about what these scales are in relativity to a major scale. So if you are watching this channel and you're digging this, I would say that the things that you would want to do a back study on are maybe how to form a triad and what a triad is. What happens when you flatten the mediate, the third, to make it a minor? And then what happens when you take different extensions off of that? Like, so if we had a C major and we wanted to add the 6, what would that sound like? When we go past our octave here, how do we add the 9th? And does that need the dominant 7th to house the rest of that strength? When we talk about chord structures and how to actually see them as 2 different chords and harmonically, one of the things that we could also do is try to see around the keyboard or the instrument of choice. I personally love to write it all out on my little eraser board. And I find that having a visible representation of the things that I work on with my students is a lot better than having some sort of vague idea coming from a book. I really do enjoy working here. Actually, not just working here, but renting here. Other than that, during the week I do labor. And I take time to do a little volunteering music-wise. But most of my time is just meeting other local musicians here on the island and seeing what they got going on and trying to support that. If you are in your hometown and you know where local musicians are, go support them. Please, it'd be awesome. Wow, look at his hair, gotta shave it. Anyway, thanks for tuning in today. I got a student coming in here in just a moment. If you have a question, did you throw it in the section? Did not? Anywho, if you see this and you enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and look at the channel for a bunch of different chords. If you have any suggestions for what the channel should look like in your opinion, put it in the comment section. Other than that, it's nice seeing you here. Aloha!